bridge. Bridge.
Ladies and gentlemen, the complete history of America abridged will begin shortly.
The animals used in tonight's performance were tortured under the strict supervision of the American Humane Association.
If you or members of your party are hearing established. And now, for your edification and entertainment, the complete history of America.
Abridged. Tonight, we explore the history of a great nation. But before we do, I'm sure many of you are wondering,
Like, why the complete history of America? I'm sure some of the members of our cast know. Jeff, why don't you start?
In the tradition of my white Anglo-Saxon Puritan imperialist westward expansionist capitalist intellectual forebears, I will be brief. I believe it was Ben Franklin who said,
history was written by the winners.
well, tonight it's our turn.
See, I see this performance as a post-note on the refrigerator of America. A post-note that says, "Hey America, send the United States back!"
Because it's only through remembering our past that we can learn from our mistakes, or at least blame them on somebody else, and move on into a better future. And enlighten capitalism, perhaps.
Making an America that is free of all forms of
Sexism, racism,
Hair colorism, making fun of it.
ageism, racism, and you may say that I'm a moron, and I say to you, yes, but I am a moron with a dream, and that, my friends, is the most dangerous kind of moron. You preach it, sister. Thanks for that. Actually, some time ago, we received a letter from a 10-year-old girl named Amy, who lives in Warwickshire, England. Amy writes,
See, guys, I think it'd be fun for you Americans to condense all of the English history, because you guys are so hysterical, and handsome, and wise. XOXO, Amy.
well, Amy, this is the kind of letter that pisses us off. Why can't Americans do American history? We have no interest whatsoever in English history. Where do all you English get off with this cultural superiority complex?
Yeah, we've got a culture too. And a history.
it's not as long as yours, but like my mom always says, it's not the length of your history that matters, it's what you've done with it.
But hang on, Amy.
We've got a lot
to accomplish.
Let's do this!
USA! USA! USA!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Hello, my fellow Americans. We are about 12,000 years back now, and the scientists speculate that the first people came to North America across the Bering. Are those some moose coming over from Russia? Bristol, get the shotgun!
We're not only interested in what scientists have to say. We have our own stories on how the world began.
Now for the story of the first people.
At the beginning of all beginnings, all was water. To the north, water. To the south, water. To the east and to the west, invested. Water.
We get to the water.
Just get on with it.
All right, and living above the water was a coyote, a duck, and another duck, and they walked into a bar. Yeah! At this point, the tribal elders will lead us in the dance of the antelope's intestines. Will you lead us? Change his hair color to look different.
Will do. Sits down to pee.
America!
We begin at the actual beginning, 1492. Now, our research tells us that the 15th century lasted almost 100 years. At this time, America was crawling with these explorers, mostly Spanish, who could be recognized by the large fuzzy dice hanging from their masts. Of course, after 1492, everything had changed.
Hello and welcome to the dual meetings of Salem's First Church of Tolerance and National Witch Hunters Association. Couple of quick announcements. Tuesdays are Arts and Crafts Night. We will be making nooses and thumb screws. We will also be playing Hangman, pin the blame on the warlock, and Duck burn the heretic.
Hear. We interrupt this witch hunt to bring you the French and Indian War. The French and the British are at it again, this time in North America. In sports, the Patriots trounced the Redskins.
Hear ye, hear ye. After defeat of French and Indian, King George imposes taxes on tea, stamps, sugar, and anything else he can think of. The colonists are up in arms. Hey, did you hear King George raise taxes and the colonists are up in arms? And the people are arming themselves. The colonists are in revolt.
Hey, do you hear the colonists are revolting?
I know, did you ever eat with one of them?
Revolution underway! Nicki Minaj style. Listen, my children, you shall hear of the midnight ride of horror there. He said with a grin while wiping his chin, and my ear was a blah 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 blah.
I hear a shot!
I hear a shot, signor!
Che succede sapere? Il giocone! Io che non ci ordini!
Shots heard round the world.
And a full-fledged revolution was underway. The colonists wanted to stop the British government from imposing unfair and exorbitant taxes, so the American government could impose unfair and exorbitant taxes. The commander-in-chief was George Washington, with his tiny contingent of fighters, the Minutemen, brave patriots fighting for American liberty, the Minutemen. Better lovers than you might think. Give it up for George Washington and the Minutemen. Look, I am tired of all this insinuendo that our war effort is anything less than positively impacting the British entrenchment situation. It is very difficult to enumerate just how offensive our problems are. But I'll tell you one thing. Contraceptive to public belief, we are taking precautions at every penetration by the grace of God. Our upcoming thrust, breaking the last line of British defense, and into Virginia.
Father of our country.
And so, the rebel troops brought the British to their knees by avoiding traditional battle plan. And finally, in Yorktown, fall of '81, the British surrendered. The Yankees had won. The Bill of Rights.
What about this for our new Bill of Rights? Got a problem? Throw money at.
No, to Obama. How about screw the poor, let's party?
No, to Mittens Romney, with that
Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive, staying alive. Is it the Bee Gees? No. How about all men are created equal?
Equality! Last time I heard that when I fell off my dinosaurs were red.
Now, as the world's first democracy, I believe we should guarantee the freedom of press, the freedom of religion, and the freedom of speech.
But if we guarantee all of that, people are going to say all sorts of crazy things just to piss each other off.
Well, then let's give everyone the right to carry a great big semi-automatic assault weapon and shoot each other. And the right to a fair and speedy trial by a jury of their peers after they do. Agreed? Hear ye. Now, I propose we draw up a Bill of Wrongs as a companion piece to the Bill of Rights. As I see it, Article 1 could forbid people from leaving toilet seats on. Article 2 could forbid juveniles from sagging their trousers that are crack sharps. And Article 3 could forbid people you barely know from sending you emails they find humorous. Stop emailing me! Are we in agreement?
Yes.
Once so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming. We've covered about 50,000 years of American history so far. So are there any questions? No? Great. Let's get back to the new country, which by this time had almost doubled in size in 1803. From President Jefferson, by this time sober, purchased the Louisiana Territory and sent Lewis and Clark west to explore this vast and uncharted area. You know, man, you love them. Give it up for Lewis and Clark.
Hello, everybody. We're glad to be here. We're glad to be back. We're glad to be out. We're glad to share some facts about this wonderful country, too.
You know, Louis, isn't this a beautiful audience?
Oh, yeah, especially that guy right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just rode in from Oregon.
Boy, are our butts tired.
We were sent out to explore the vast, uncharted American wilderness.
Travel across deep mountains and high valleys, all the way to the ocean.
I'll be more specific.
The Pacific Ocean.
We took extensive looks on various flora and fauna and sighted many wild animals. We saw rattlesnakes,
They go,
saw grizzly bears,
they go,
and we saw wild geese.
they go,
A joke for you! So a man walks into a doctor's office and he says, Doc, you gotta help me.
versus Shania Twain. The Civil War is the first of which we have actual photographic images. Tonight we are proud to relive the American Civil War in a slideshow entitled The American Civil War. Slideshow.
Now, while these guys set up, let me give you a bit of historical background. The Missouri Compromise of 1820 allowed slavery in Missouri, but nowhere north of its southern border, creating an actual line that divided north and south. This set the scene for the war that killed more men named Zeke than any war in history. Now, without further ado, we are proud to present the Civil War, the slideshow.
At the heart of fighting was the issue of slavery, and when abolitionist Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860,
The South seceded from the Union. The Civil War had begun. This photograph captures the emotion of the Confederate soldiers at the Battle of Bull Run.
with the caption, "This guy." It was the bloodiest in hand-to-hand combat in the history of the nation.
Take a moment now to focus the projector.
But in the end, the North overwhelmed the South through sheer numbers. And finally, Robert E. Lee surrendered his troops in Appomattox, Virginia on April 8, 1865, and everyone lived happily ever after. Except for Abraham Lincoln, who was shot in the head by John Wilkes Booth and died. But later went on to win an Oscar. John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and ran into a warehouse. Lee Harvey Oswald shot Kennedy in a warehouse and ran into a theater.
Lincoln was elected in 1860, and Kennedy was elected in 1960. Coincidence? Then how did the Mayan calendar predict it?
Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy, and Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln.
4 days before he died, Lincoln was in Monroe, Maryland. And 4 days before he died, Kennedy was in Maryland,
Whoa! Enough conspiracy theories! As we move on to our final chapter in American history, there is no better way to celebrate the spirit of post-war America than with a...
Medley of Broadway show tunes!
No! We're not doing show tunes!
U to the S to the O to the A, we're gonna throw down some history, so get out of the way. No, way back when we fought a great war, the little skipping over because it was a snore. In the 1920s, yeah, it was roaring, ladies slapping like birds, the economy was soaring.
But that all ended when we hit the Great Depression, and we're begging for change, like the low ends with the pension. And honestly, they could not think of a prophecy to push the economy from this dark gloom.
Their philosophy is that it's impossibly hard to make money, but then boom, boom, boom.
Pearl Harbor was a tragedy that saved the day. Because of World War II, we jumped into the fray.
What was the game we played with the Nazis? We shook the cup and rolled the dice and we yelled Yahtzee.
Things got cold between the U.S. and Russia, but 20 years later, like, hey, you can't touch
It was a
us.
big old march led by MLK, which made this land free. We're the home piece of break. Facebook changed the way we talk and the way we stop. We're on around the clock. Obama promised us all